Welcome into the Lawyer Rumble podcast. Today we're joined by Spencer Browne. Spencer Browne is a 12-time consecutive super lawyer in the state of Texas. He has taken over 100 trials to verdict and counting. He's been voted the best lawyer in Dallas multiple times. He's a trial leader at one of the largest personal injury firms in all of the country. He brings some really serious courtroom experience and insights. Spencer, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Elliot. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to have you on. You and I work together, and I love opportunities where I actually get to learn more about you. And hopefully we're going to be able to do that just today.
We'll grab some fun.
So let's start with the Lawyer Rumble. Last year, and you were both the MC and a speaker at it. And as far as I know, that's not your side gig. I think at least the MC part of that, like, what was that experience like last year?
I mean, I can't tell you how much fun it was. All right. So, number one, the energy that's in the room for those 2 days is unlike any other CLE that you'll be at. But we really have a room full of lawyers that are solely focused on not only how to improve their craft and become better at what they're doing, but also learn the business. Because that's what this Lawyer Rumble's about. It's about how to be successful in what we do. We've got a lineup. We had it last year. We got even a better one this year of truly the titans of our industry. The folks that can teach you how to be so great at what you do that it becomes routine. It becomes second nature to you. So that's what I'm super excited about. I'm excited to share what we know, what we've learned, what we're doing. I'm excited to hear about what others are doing that are also at the top of the game, and hoping everyone can take little bits and pieces and make their practice better.
Yeah, for sure. Last year was my first exposure to an event like that and that kind of material. And I just loved it. I loved learning, even though I'm in the marketing side and I'm not really exposed to a lot of this stuff. Just I grew a super huge appreciation for what you all do. And you spoke about medically managing the case. What would you say from last year? What's one mistake PI lawyers make when they're managing the medical side of the case?
Trial lawyers invest so much time in acquiring the case. It's your investment that you have. Think of it if you're trying to play in the stock market, whatever it is, but you spend so much of your hard-earned money to try to acquire the case that you want to represent for your client. Then to neglect it after sign up is something that happens all the time. So now you actually spend all of your money to have a new client come in where you can help try to get this maximum type recovery for your client. You can't forget about it. You've got to be able to make sure that your client is getting access to the best possible healthcare. So they're getting a recovery, not only in the financial part of it at the end, but you're helping them get physical recovery, right? That's just as important as any type of financial recovery. Getting a physical and emotional recovery is almost more important, right? You add all three of them together. Maybe the physical and emotional is 2/3 as important as getting the money at the end. So medically managing the case, all I was really telling our lawyers and telling the folks that were there is, look, you've just got to make sure that you can open doors for your client, that you can't neglect their symptoms. And if they're telling you certain symptoms, listen, right? Get out there and find out what's wrong with your clients. Talk to them constantly. Communication is absolutely paramount when it comes to getting your clients to recovery. So if you're talking to them at a minimum once every 2 weeks, getting an idea of the nature, duration, and severity of their injuries so you can not only effectively advocate on their behalf, but get them to the appropriate doctors or get them access to the appropriate doctors so they can get treated, they can find out what's wrong with them, they can figure out the extent of their injuries, and also plan for any type of future medical care that may be necessary, then you're doing something. But if you just set up the case and you wait for them to call you 6 months later and say, I'm better, you didn't help your client. You have to stay involved. You have to constantly communicate with your clients to find out what's going on. How can I help? What can we do to make you feel better? That's part of our job.
I think you guys do a great job of that and setting that standard. And I think it goes both ways, right? Like not just communicating, but listening. And I think, I think you guys do a great job of that and building up the case.
You hear it here nonstop, right? We focus in on that as one of the big metrics within our firm that makes our firm successful, right? We focus in on knowing, is our team and are our lawyers talking to our clients at least once every 2 weeks? And if our clients haven't had a contact at least once every 2 weeks, something's wrong, right? We're not doing it right. So that's what my talk at the Lawyer Rumble was about. That's something that we're going to try to share when we have our next session, is just how important it can be. And there's certain things that you can do even automatically that can make that easier for you to communicate with your clients, where you get that information back. But then what do you do when you get that info? You got to act on it. When you do that, you're going to see a more successful resolution for your client at the end. And of course, look, Elliot, you know this better than anybody else. If you get that successful resolution for the client, if your client's extremely satisfied for the work that they've done, you got that communication, you're going to get a 5-star review at the end. And that's going to lead to your next case. So that's what I think that's every marketing a person within the law firm saying, yes, please give me that 5-star review. That's how you do it.
5-star review and so much more to be able to promote and solidify, the amazing services that we're able to offer. So yeah, yes, marketing loves to hear that. You kind of teased about this year. Do you have maybe an insight or something somebody might walk away from your 2026 presentation that's happening April 9th and 10th here right here in Dallas?
Look, it's going to be super exciting. It's super fun. There's going to be a lot of the same speakers that we had last year. They've got new material to share. We've got some new speakers from around the country coming in. Not only are you going to hear about, obviously, the general overview about the business and how to be successful at the business. Man, I love some of the nuts and bolts stuff too. Specifically, I always like to hear about the little quirky things that we got to be aware of. We got Judge Bellin from our Dallas County Courts is going to be there, and she kind of gives us the list of the do's and don'ts that she's heard over the last year. It's super beneficial. So you get some ethics credits when you get to listen to her too, which it's always tough to come by from lawyers. But man, I catch myself when she says something and it feels like she's talking right to me. She's also got an X page out there where she will send out some tweets and let us know, hey, don't do this before you come to the courtroom. So it's always fun to hear her talk. And just to hear the lineup of speakers. I love hearing from Adam LaCrone, who's one of the best mediators in Texas, who tells us, here are the things you got to do to make your case successful for mediation if you want to get that great result. So I love hearing that. I mean, plus the lineup of speakers is really second to none. I think this is the most high-powered, plaintiff-centered CLE that there is. And I don't think there's a comparison. So this is something truly unique that we get to have in Dallas. Folks from around the country sharing their time and their talent with us. It's going to be fun.
Heck yeah. I'm so excited. Last year, I just kept sneaking off and just listening and sitting in on all of the sessions, and the speakers were fantastic, just fantastic. And I'm not even an attorney. So recently, you helped secure one of the biggest settlements in the firm's 33+ year history, over $30 million in settlement in a very catastrophic injury case. I mean, it was multiple years, I believe, over 5-6 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
A multi-year fight. What did that teach you about building, a case for maximum value over that span of time?
Number one, when you tend to get a result of that magnitude, obviously the injury is already quite catastrophic. But then there's just certain elements that go into making sure you present those catastrophic injuries in the correct way, where they are appropriately evaluated. Not only through your own work, but does the other side see it? Does the defense see it? And do you have a position well if you have to get that before a jury? And it begins with stuff that we're going to learn about at the Lawyer Rumble, which is, are you telling your client's story? Are you learning everything about how this family was affected? Are you spending time with the family? Are you hearing the stories about what was taken from them? Are you hearing about what was lost? And until you spend and invest the time with your clients, you can't figure that out. That's the biggest thing that we can do as lawyers when we are handed a case that has these type of injuries, catastrophic type injuries. What was the routine family dinner like that we don't have now? What was the routine family outing that you don't do now? What was the routine vacation that's not taken now? So when you think of all these things that you take for granted, and then you are able to explore it, you discover it, you present it not only in paper, but in deposition form or testimony form, that helps tell the story. Now, the other part is we can all build up the damages as lawyers, and we can work hard on honing our craft to make sure that we're telling the story correctly. But you have to get by the first question in every single personal injury case, and that's, who's at fault? Can you hold that person responsible and accountable on the negligence line. And that was a big fight that our whole entire firm had a hand in helping. There was multiple defendants. There was multiple different possibilities on how this event occurred. And it took a team of a lot of lawyers in this law firm to discover those facts, to get this well positioned. It's one thing to gather a case that has something unimaginable that happened to a family. It could be a death. It could be a paralysis. It could be any numerous type of events that could happen to you. The next thing that you got to do, though, right away is find out how this occurred, how there was a party at negligent, and then what did the family lose? What did the family have taken from them? And if you can explore all those facts starting from day one with a thought and a mindset of what does the jury need to hear? What do I need to prove to the jury from day one? So don't start thinking about what do I need to tell the jury when you've had the case for 3 years. Right? You got to start from day one. What evidence do I need? There's a lot of things. Look, we're going to talk about it in April, right? When we have the CLE, but look, do we need to get a video camera in with the family? And it's like reality TV and having the family videotaped at all times. Do we need to have a videotaped on the injured person? Do we need to continuously update interviews with the folks that are involved? There's a lot of different angles, a lot of different avenues, and obviously technology continues to change where we're given access to the ability to have Ring cameras or whatever it might be, things that can do monitoring on you for a 24/7 period, and then you could somehow condense that data into a few different snippets of minutes at a time to create really the loss. But that's the biggest thing that I think all of us trial lawyers sometimes forget. We think that the medical records just might tell the story of what happened to an individual, when really that's just scratching the surface. That's just the top 1% of what happened. The other 99% is what happened to the family. What happened to that routine? What was your loss when you realized that dad's not sitting at the dinner table with you anymore? That dad's sitting in the bed. You know, what those are the types of things that really have to have a story attached to it. And not to keep going on or give a little more secrets.
No, please.
I had a conversation with Angel Reyes here in our office, and we were talking about trying a case. He said, you know, how can Hollywood produce an amazing movie and put it into 2.5 hours? And that movie could span decades. It could tell a story about the worst injuries and the worst events occurring, and you could have a feeling of who was right, who was wrong, what the damages were, and everything else in those 2 to 3 hours. But yet, we have to try that case in 6 weeks. So what if we start thinking about what does the audience want to see? What does the jury want to see? And how do we condense that down into short snippets that you can make your own movie of what happened here? And so that's what we try to focus in on. I think you're going to hear a lot about that, is how can we make the production of our case better? I think that's what we did for that case, and that's what we're going to continue to do for all the other cases we handle too.
Well, just to build off that real fast, I know we are a referral partner for a lot of firms across Texas. What kind of cases does Angel Reyes and Associates take on from other firms of, lawyers that had something this kind of complex that's going to take years and it's just a little bit out of their scope? Like, what kind of cases would you be looking for?
What we do here and what we think we do the best in Texas is truck and auto crash cases. It's our wheelhouse. It's what we focused in on. You've mentioned Angel's been doing this for 33 years.
Mhm.
That's what his practice has been focused on. I joined Angel as soon as I graduated law school in 2003, and I have never done anything else but represent victims of truck and car crashes. And I think it's really helped us because we've had a singular focus, and we haven't really try to lose that focus over time as saying, what if we did, this other type of work? Or if we added in this type of work? No, for 30 years now for Angel and for nearly 25 for me, it's been nothing but how do we hone our craft to be the best at what we do? And that's help people that were victims of truck crashes and auto crashes. If you got a situation that involves an auto or truck crash in the state of Texas, there's probably a case that we've handled that's very similar to that. There's not many things that we haven't seen, that we haven't tried, and that we haven't somehow discovered. So we'd love to help out anybody that needs help and trying to prove up the damages and try to prove up the liability. It's what we excel at.
All right. Here's a fun one. So when I started at the firm, I was introduced to your name by Jim Carlson, the COO here, and he referred to you as our Michael Jordan. And I know at the top of this podcast, we talked a lot about your accolades and your reputation as a elite trial lawyer. So, what would you say is one habit that young attorneys need to start building today to be an elite lawyer?
No substitute for hard work. And I learned that before I was a lawyer, and I'd still take it now. If there's one bit of advice that seems to have been handed on from generation to generation that sometimes gets lost, is you have to outwork your opponent. And we all might be supremely talented, but I think we've all heard the hard work outbeats talent every day. I'd like to pride myself as being one of the first persons into the office and one of the last persons to leave every day. I remember asking Angel when I was a baby lawyer, what should I be doing? What shall I be focusing on? And I remember him saying, beat me here and leave after I leave. And that's the one takeaway I think I give to every lawyer. Let me tell you what, Angel gets to the office early. So most of the times he's here before 6 a.m., so I'm not beating him here. But I think that holds true for every lawyer that's out there. I mean, you can't expect to be successful if you're not putting the hard work in. And if you put the hard work in, it doesn't matter who's on the other side, you'll win. You will. I mean, that's the way the system is set up, that hard work will always outperform someone who's not paying attention. Just the way it works in our business.
I like to talk to my marketing team a lot about that. Like, we got a lot of talented folks. Competition has a lot of talented folks. What is going to help us build any kind of differentiation or some sort of competitive moat per se? And to me, it's hard work. If I see something that can help us, beat our competitors, and it's just going to take blood, sweat, and tears, hours, the stuff that most people don't want to put into, I love to hear that, because that's what I feel I built, and that's what I want my team to invest in too. Like, if we're all talented, we're all on the same plane. So how do we win? To me, it's through hard work.
The other thing is, look, not only hard work, but you got to be conscientious with your work too. So it's a matter of not just putting your behind in the seat and sitting there looking at the screen all day. It's making sure that, are you doing the little things to help the client? Are you doing the little things to make sure that you're being responsive to your staff, your client's needs? And if you are that person, good things will flow. Like, it's the ecosystem that will continue to get better. If you're putting in the work, you're showing how much you care. They'll start showing you how much they care. Everything will rise with your hard work. And just the way the world works.
We are philosophically aligned, Spencer. I love it. All right. So that's the end, but I got some quick fire fun questions. Best restaurant in Dallas and why?
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a tough one. All right. So anything by Duro Hospitality, which is Mr. Charles, Chaz Martin, I think is the best restaurateur in all of Dallas. Mr. Charles, I think, was just on that Michelin recommended type list. Chaz is awesome. So he's got El Carlos Elegante, Sister, anything that he puts his fingers on, I love. I just saw the Charles is, they just updated their menu in January, February. We just went from our, a friend's birthday, and we had a blast. So it was great food, really good food.
All right. I'm moving that up my list. I am a foodie. I love food, and I never been there.
Check it out. Everything the Duro Hospitality group touches is like gold. That's good.
All right, favorite movie or underrated movie, whatever.
Oh, well, those are two different things. All right, so look, I was a nerd growing up, and I loved Star Wars, so Empire Strikes Back was like the movie. As I got a little bit older, I mean, I told everybody, and this is probably feels, the Shawshank Redemption is just, I don't know why, right? It was the Shawshank Redemption is just such a great story, a great Stephen King book that was even better in film. The acting on that was terrific. Underrated movie. Oh man. Now look, I like a lot of horrible 80s movies. All right. I obviously that was my youth, and I think I was the latchkey kid. My dad was a hard worker, all this type of thing. So I got to see a lot of HBO and Cinemax and things like that. So I saw every movie that came out in the 80s to HBO. I don't know what it is. There's a movie from the 80s. It's like a high school type movie. It's called Vision Quest. Right? It's with Matthew Modine. It's with, oh gosh, I forget her name. Whatever. It's a high school wrestling movie. It's kind of a funny, it's not really a funny movie, but it's got like a little bit of story. Madonna actually makes her movie career debut where she sings Crazy in the bar. Look, it's a story about, again, hard work, putting in the work, and you get what you want at the end. So underrated 80s movie. That's amazing. I love it. I like sports movies. So
oh yeah, I need to see
Vision Quest. Victory is another was Sylvester Stallone's a soccer movie from the 80s. Really funny, fun. Michael Caine. Good movie.
I just watched A League of Their Own with my wife. She had never seen it, and there's
God,
Madonna
it's
in
so
it. I'm like,
good.
yeah, that's
Oh my God,
Madonna.
that movie's
She can
so
act.
amazing.
Oh, that movie's so good.
Love that movie. Love baseball, so love that movie. Major League is incredible too because of that.
Oh
It's
yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. Okay. Who inspired you the most in real life?
My father and mother are always my inspirations, right? My dad was an extremely hard worker, always cared for us nonstop and wanted us to be great. I'm lucky enough to get to work with my brother, and we both got to see how hard our father worked for us and gave us that character trait, making sure that you don't ever give up. And so that was a big thing. You know, you work for it. He was a doctor, so he was involved in helping patients and helping people, and that was a love of him. That his patients' health was always
Mhm.
supremely paramount for him. So that's the way that our clients'
Mm.
well-being's super important for us. And our mother was her name was Angel, but she was our angel too. So it just like we've got Angel. So she was terrific. I mean, she was there for everything. I mean, she was the it's kind of funny, my kids, before she passed, they would call her Queenie, but she was the queen of our household. She would make sure that not only do we have everything that we ever need for growing up, but she was the one that really pushed us, right? So it was, if we felt like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this or that, she would be the one that kind of give us the kick in the pants to go out and make sure that we do it and not give up and make sure if you fell down, dust yourself up and get back out there. Don't take no for an answer. Figure it out. If you failed, learn from it. Let's go. Let's try it again. If you lost a game, so what? Let's go. Let's get the next one. Come on. So it was those type of they were very similar, but those type of attitudes we've taken as our own now, trying to give to our kids, and those are our two biggest inspirations. At least they're my two biggest
Oh,
inspirations for
yeah,
sure.
you sound like two amazing people.
Yep.
Okay, who inspired you the most that you've never met?
That's a tough one.
Is it Michael Jordan?
I wish it was. So I grew up in Kansas City, and we had great baseball
Mm.
in the 70s and the 80s with the Royals. The Chiefs weren't good yet. The Chiefs didn't get good for a while. But so we had some wonderful sports players and then all that. George Brett was obviously a hero of mine growing up because he's this great baseball player. But look, the true inspiration that of people that I never really got to meet, I kind of like to go back through history, right? And
Yeah.
I'm just kind of a little bit of a politics nerd, right? I majored in government and international studies at Notre Dame, and so we learned a lot about the political system. And there's so many people that I would have loved to have met throughout history that I thought, wow, that was some cool stuff. I'm not saying that they're wonderful, but would I've loved to have seen what Abraham Lincoln was like as a lawyer, right? I mean, this is a person who didn't even go to law school, but kind of picked it up on his own and read it on his own and figured out, I'm going to be a trial lawyer. Sure, that's pretty cool, right? There is, the way that at least as an orator and a politician, that what John F. Kennedy had for us, super cool, great visions. I'm not speaking anything else, but those are the types of things that are out there. But there's also fictional people that are very inspiring too. I mean, as trial lawyers, we've all kind of read To Kill a Mockingbird, and that's the kind of the trial lawyer standard is to be Atticus Finch, right?
Mhm.
To be that person that
That's the
can
bar.
stand up and know right from wrong and then deliver the impassioned defense to basically convince an area of the jury that would never go your way, but make them understand and have them go for your client at the end is the inspiration, right? It's the goal of what we all want to be. And I'm sure there's a Matthew McConaughey or Tom Cruise movie where they do the same, but
Yeah.
it's the same thing, right? It's the gold standard for what you want to be as a trial lawyer. You want to come out with that moment of saying, I was able to take the unwinnable for our client and make sure that they had the right representation to get the appropriate redress for their problems. And that's what we all want, right? That's our dream.
Well, this has been awesome, Spencer. I just need to get you on this podcast more and more so I can just keep learning about you. It's so much fun.
Well, I'm always available. I'm excited for this Lawyer Rumble thing. So hopefully we don't have to wait another year before we do another
Yeah. So we'll be seeing you as the MC, a featured speaker on April 9th and 10th here in Dallas. For anyone thinking about attending, register now. Seats are filling up fast. We are definitely on pace to not just sell out, but sell out very, very shortly. So get your tickets. They're as cheap as they're ever going to be right now. Price increase next. Well, who knows when this will come out, but get registered because it's going to sell out. And with that, Spencer, where can people reach you if they wanted to get in contact?
Always, you can reach me at my email, Spencer, Spencer, at Reyes Law. I've had that same email for 23 plus years. So email me, please, at any time. I'm always available. Talk to you. I hope you all show up on April 9th and 10th. I'm telling you, it's going to be a cool, fun event. It's going to be fun, right? This is not just something where you're going to sit down and take notes the whole time. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be interactive. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be some fun. It's some fun CLE for a change.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Spencer.
Thanks, Elliot. Appreciate your time.